All right, we're live and we're recording. Welcome, everybody, to Mic'd Up, presented to you by On My Feet. I'm your host, AJ, and joining me is my co host, the one, the only, Talks with TJ. Um, I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit, but she's the BFF. And when we were talking about doing a whole nother show, I was just talking to the guys at On My Feet. I'm like, hey, we need TJ. It's just her, the way she is, her info and all that. So TJ, take it from here, introduce yourself. I know everybody knows you, but just a little bit more.
Well, everybody may not know me, but thank you so much, AJ and On My Feet, for having me. So, like AJ said, guys, I am TJ, aka better known as Talks with TJ or TJ Two Shoes Change, because at any point I probably do have on at least one or two Nike chains. You guys can find me on Instagram or YouTube almost daily, posting content centered around sneakers, streetwear, how to style, but also how to go about getting all those things the right way. We are not going for broke here. We are
No.
going start making sure that you look good, you feel good, get something new on your feet, but also take care of everything else you need to take care of in life. And with this show, we're just going to give you the actual look at all the conversations AJ and I have on a daily about kicks and everything else in the community and in the culture. So that's exactly what you guys are going to see here each episode.
And you can see behind her, she is deep in the culture. Um, but the whole idea behind our new show is to give you a little insight on, like she was saying, what me and her literally talk every single day. Now, if we're spitting gems to each other, hey, I felt like maybe everybody else needs to hear this. And this is going to be a unique show. Um, it is a podcast, but the first part of it is a video podcast. Correct, TJ? So we're going to be giving our viewers who don't want to listen to the whole stretch uh, a breakdown of what's going to be happening throughout. It could, I mean, some days it could be 30 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it could be an hour, 2 hours, just depending on what the conversation is and what's happening in the culture at the current state. And there's a lot to talk about. So what we're going to do is myself and TJ, we're just going to roll with it.
That is absolutely an option, but we just want to make sure you can enjoy us in a multitude of ways. So sometimes it may be you seeing the kicks that we have in hand, something
Mm-hmm.
specific that we're talking about, especially if it's a brand new unboxing or something we're really excited to have in hand and break down for you guys. But there are times where maybe it really is just a discussion and that allows you to listen, kind of gather your thoughts, give us feedback. We certainly appreciate getting your insight, getting your guys' thoughts on different things. And it's gonna be something definitely different, as we like to joke around. It's something like a podcast.
Exactly. So fun fact before we actually came up with the name Mic'd Up, because this is not going to be just about sneakers. Yeah, we're sitting in front of sneaker walls, but we'll eventually be traveling to different states to do this because right now we're in lockdown, so we can't. So our original thing was like, hey, something like a podcast, because myself and TJ do come up with crazy ideas sometimes, and we do get excited. But the producers are like, hmm, yeah, but why don't we do something that might be catchier? So yeah, guys. So we got vetoed on that one. But
try,
other
try.
but no, this is the first of many. We actually have 5 episodes, 6 episodes, or 5 episodes after this planned, which is going to be more um, based on current events, sneakers, fashion, whatnot. But we just want to make sure you, when you guys are listening to it, this is going to help you throughout your day. It's going to help you, if you have like, for example, like TJ is great at like the finance part of it, like how if you want to save for some stuff. Oh, make sure you guys check out her page, her book. Yeah, we're gonna get into all that real quick, real quick.
All of that, guys. I promise that will be something you always have available to you. Again, you guys see the wall of sneakers behind me. It's
Hmm.
amazing, and it's a dream come true if you're ever able to work with brands or publications and be seated pairs. But understand this: 99.9% of the sneakers you see I purchase on my own, but I make sure that all of my needs are met before a sneaker comes into play. As much as I feel like I need a lot of kicks, and I really do, looking ahead at 2020's release list, I need a lot of kicks, but that's never going to come ahead of the needs and the responsibilities I have. So that
Yes.
I always want you guys to remember and keep in mind. Again, we got to be smart, but we have some ideas already down the direction we want to go for this, and each topic will kind of lead into the next one, so it's a continuous flow of conversation because we really do feel like everything in the culture connects in some way, whether it's good or bad, whether we are really optimistic about it or maybe we have some apprehension about it. That's something that we will talk about when it comes to each episode.
Yeah. So going from there, now there's some news that happened today. And I know we weren't, this was going to be later on, but you know what? Being the pilot episode, I think this happened for a reason. Now, somebody very close to us, very close to TJ, has jumped shipped. And yeah, you know, people who know me know that I'm a Nike boy, I'm a Jordan boy. TJ is a same Nike girl, Jordan girl. I mean, she got some Iversons behind her. That's cool. I mean, I'm an Iverson fan. But TJ, do you want to tell the audience that's sad? Well, sad for us because we probably won't be able to buy most of the stuff anymore, but great for this gentleman uh, with the business idea. So, TJ, do you want to take that?
Correct. So probably I want to say early this year. Now I'd always had respect for this gentleman and what he brought to the culture, but early 2020, I decided to take that dive all the way in. And that's right, I'm talking about becoming a Jerry girl. So when it comes to Jerry Lorenzo, all things, all lines that he has in play from the main line to Fear of God Essentials, even to what is no longer the Nike and Fear of God collaboration. So
Sad,
those
sad
were
day.
they were all big on my radar, and it's a bittersweet day because it was announced officially by Adidas, by Jerry, by Fear of God that he has now inked a long-term contract and relationship and deal with Adidas. So it is no longer swoosh; it is
Mm-mm.
three stripes. And I know I've seen it floating around of, well, does anybody really care about that? Well, I think if you're looking at sneakers as a whole, this
Yeah.
is a pretty big move in terms of the culture. This is big in terms of fashion and designers. And it's kind of leaving that door open of who's next to enter. Really big on Nike's radar to
Yeah.
have the ability to design like Jerry did because I feel like he had a little bit more ownership than some of the other names that are under Nike. But I really do think it came into play. He didn't have as much ownership and as much direction and able to lead in the real direction he wanted to go and possibly as far along as he wanted to go. I feel like he has a really big vision. He always talks and speaks on walking in
Mm.
his purpose, what he sees, and he had a trifecta plan for the brand of Fear of
Yeah.
God, mainline for essentials, and now the announcement of Fear of God Athletics. So this is big. Now we say it's bittersweet
Yeah.
because
But it's big deal.
it's big. It's really big. Now I couldn't be happier for Jerry to see an entrepreneur, a designer, a creative individual see their vision come true, have somebody wholeheartedly believe in them and show it. I think it comes down to that. What actions are you showing as a brand that you believe and you trust in this designer? I think that's exactly what Adidas has showcased. And I think that's
Yeah.
where Nike dropped the ball. Now, it's bittersweet for AJ and I because we are individuals that are really true to ourselves in terms of what we buy, what you see us in, and we're usually not people to just jump outside of what
Yeah.
really is true to us because it's the best move for someone else. So this is
Hmm.
the best move, hands down, for Jerry. Is it the best move for me? I don't necessarily know that because I'm not someone that goes out to buy
Nah.
in any way, prior to this. And so
Yeah.
I think that kind of comes down to, are you just hopping along from trend to trend because an individual did it? And then when it comes to Jerry, I think people have to remember there are a lot of ways in which you can still support and really walk in that same
Mm.
light and in support of Jerry in itself. You still have the fear of God essentials line. I mean that
Yeah,
that
but see, for me, it's just like I understand what Jerry wanted to do is because he wants to expand, like everybody else, just kind of like what Kanye wanted to do. I have some notes in front of me. They said the first Fear of God ones came out in December of 2018. So 2 years ago is when he dropped something for the first time with Nike. Now, I know that Nike takes its time with certain people, or it's just like, hey, design this and go forward. So far, the longest designer has been, I believe, Virgil and Don C. Now, again, those guys are Chicago boys. Jerry was originally part of the squad with uh, Virgil, Don C, Kanye, and him. Now, maybe Kanye put in a good word and said, "Hey, I think this is great," because Adidas is moving into a whole nother like realm right now. They are the second brand. I mean, I know you and me are more biased on the swoosh life, but they're I don't think I mean, yes, that Nike has its ups and downs, Adidas has its ups and downs, but Adidas I don't think is ever going to be that top notch, hey, I need this, until they start doing stuff like this, bringing over designers that are part of the culture. Jerry Lorenzo is literally the only guy, and I think we were talking about this yesterday, that can wear a suit jacket
yeah.
with sweatpants and moccasins, and it looks fly.
Yeah,
And if I tried to do that, I probably look like a homeless person. Like,
people are confident in that, and I think that's one thing that I love about Jerry is he's so confident. He doesn't sway from
exactly.
what
Exactly.
knows is true to himself and what he sees, the purpose. He'll talk about, it's about fluid movement within your day and within your
Hmm.
wardrobe, so he designs, it's traditionally like for men, but of course it's really androgynous. Men and women wear it. I
Hmm.
certainly wear it. It's about you being able to fluidly move through your day. So maybe you are at the gym and you're running around town, but maybe you have a business meeting immediately after. We're not always able to run home at the drop of a hat and go and do a full outfit change. So it's good
Yeah.
to totally move through your life, because life is not black and white. There's a lot of gray in there, and our days are always just flowing together. So that's what he focuses on for his clothes. That's how he dresses himself. And I
Hmm.
think that he'll continue to bring that forward. And because he is so confident, I think that actually helped him, I mean, make like leaps and bounds for streetwear. I think that's what people are missing the mark.
Yep.
So they're saying, oh, well, he's only been with Nike and doing the Nike and Fear God collaborations for 2 years. Correct. Now that's moved at a slower pace than maybe he would have liked, but look at what Fear of God on its own has
Has
done.
done, yeah. So
And
he's used to that. He's not a new designer. Like some of these people that come to Nike and Jordan brand, they're new, straight out of design school, or maybe working for a brand that doesn't, they're not used to like this. But Jerry is one of those guys that he has a successful brand, and I'm sure it's a multi-million dollar brand. Think about it. His line sells out, and we're not talking about the essentials. We're not talking about the stuff that goes to PacSun. I'm talking about the Fear of God
yeah,
main line. A pair of joggers that, I mean, of course, one thing with the Fear God is they use the highest quality material, and he said it. I've seen his interviews on Complex when he did the whole thing with Alayli May. I don't know if you remember when they kind of walked through his factory,
yes,
and that was awesome. When he literally breaks down when he walked in LA, like, hey, he gets the highest highest grade hide, the cow hides for his shoes. The he actually goes through and looks at each material, making sure it's good. He picks them out. Now, yeah, it's high grade, but $750 for a pair of pants. I mean, for me, I feel I'd rather spend that on a pair of shoes, but I really wouldn't even then. Um, but again, it sells out. He knows what he's done. He's made his mark in the fashion industry. He's surrounded by top-notch people. There's WNBA players wearing his stuff. There's rappers wearing his stuff. And
yeah.
you can,
Jerry isn't a novice. People have to remember that he now just released his 7th collection. So if you're not familiar with
Yeah.
Jerry's mainline Fear of God, it goes in sequence of collections. So he started with the first one, and he really dealt with layering and that. But as he progressed in understanding the design, the flow, and how he wanted to drape his actual clothing, he realized that early on, I believe I read that he didn't really understand how items would fit. So there was a lot of draping, there was a lot of
Yeah.
layering, and that's how he acquired the look that he wanted. But as he progressed, he realized, okay, well, it only takes maybe one piece, but if that one sweatshirt, that one hoodie hangs exactly as it should, you don't need the multiple layers to be able to get the look that you want. And that's exactly how it's progressed through. Now, I love the way that it's said now, where it really progressed from Jerry boys to Jerry men, because the
Mm,
menswear absolutely took off. I mean, 7th collection, the pre-sale, people flock to be able to pre-order these items. You're not able to just have them.
no, no.
Gotta remember, this is a pre-order, so you may have an item, you may have an overcoat that's $700, $800, and that's a pre-order. But when it comes in, they are staples in your wardrobe. You are never getting rid of. They're timeless, they're classics, and like you said, the highest quality. So you
Yeah.
know that it's worth it. Now, watching him and Aleli May, first off, two of my favorite individuals.
Aleli's awesome. Yeah.
So I just sat there like this, like a little
I
kid.
remember I actually met her in over All-Star weekend.
That's
Super dope, super dope. She was really dope people. So actually let me ask you something. So
yeah.
now the whole thing with the Adidas yeah, I mean there's more detail coming out into the thing. What's going to happen with, for example, like when you did a collab with Vans, right? Do you think that something like that would still happen, or I know I've heard through certain people that, are close into the industry that even the essential line is going to be a part of like the Adidas brand. It might not be Adidas branding, but now do you think he's signed over rights? I know he hasn't given over rights, but I'm sure they can use the fear of God for anything that they want for the next few years. I'm guessing this might be a 5-year deal. Um, I believe it might be a 5-year deal because I know that's what long term for designers mean, like 5 to 10 years. I don't
Yeah.
think it's 10 years. I think 5 years
I
is what
think
they're gonna.
5. I think it is 5 because Jerry mentioned when he released the last Fear of God one, it was the triple black pair. He explicitly stated, I don't have some long-term 5-year contract deal with
See,
Nike.
yeah,
In
yeah.
terms of designers working with brands,
So
5 years.
he was more of a consultant. I'm guessing he just consulted them and did a collab. So he's
It's like that year players, like that year-to-year contract
yeah.
players.
So do you feel like his deal? Yeah. So I'm guessing Virgil's deal is completely different as well because Virgil is not exclusive to Nike either because he's head of design for Louis Vuitton. So I feel that Virgil has a different deal as well. Now, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That
what if Virgil and Don C jump ship too? That's
absolutely.
fire.
But think about this. You have, if you guys are not aware, this was the Converse and Fear of God skid grip that released. It was a must have for me.
That's one of my favorite. Like that, you can rock
This
that with anything.
California, it's so
Oh
California.
yeah.
You have the essentials, you have the Converse, same thing with the branding on the back. It
Hmm.
was such a fun and loud shoe. It was a little bit different. We're used to the muted tonal
Yep.
color of Fear of God and Essential. So this was absolutely different. But I think that's a good point. Do we get items like this anymore with Converse and Nike being so closely associated?
Mm.
Does that cease now? I would have to think just based on.
Yeah, I think anything to do with Nike in general is done. Is done.
I think
Yeah.
so. Now,
So
question is,
you got a good deal picking those up, girl.
I listen. I love that. I have the friends and family pair that dropped on
Mhm.
Instagram. I'm so grateful to have got my hands on that. I think maybe we see the Fear of God shoes now. Remember, he has his own shoes that will typically drop
Yeah.
during the essentials drops in the spring, the winter, and the fall. So if he continues to drop those, which again they don't even allow branding on them. They're usually really toned down,
Mhm.
mostly white or mostly like a bone or black colorway. I think maybe he gives us those, let's just say 1 or 2 more seasons, maybe. And then I think it will be interesting because the whole point that I love, at least about Essentials, you're not bound to just one brand in terms of what type of footwear you
Exactly. Exactly.
I can have on Essentials, and someone really into Adidas, they can choose to put on Ultra Boost versus myself. Maybe I have on Air Force Ones. Maybe I have on a pair of Air Max Ones. I can mix. There's so many options that you have
Hmm.
because Essentials isn't tied to any
It's a
one brand.
neutral. It was like the neutral.
That was it. You can do New Balance, you can do Puma, and
Yeah.
now if at least this is me, if Adidas goes about it this way, where it's still very much so Essentials branded, and then if the Adidas is more so just internal, it's on the tag, it's not explicitly out there. I think that still gives us the option, right? Like, okay, if that's what they choose to do, if Essentials moves fully under that, and I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm clashing brands, then fine, I'm possibly open to it, but I cannot go about my day with three stripes plastered on the front of a sweatshirt and
If I had three stripes anywhere near me, I think I would catch on fire.
you actually would catch on fire. It would be as if like holy wars.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say because I know somebody I know said that hey, that could be a possibility because if they want not again not saying rights that if Adidas could make money off him in any aspect they will because I'm sure he got a huge bag. I'm talking millions of dollars because for someone like him to not continue with Nike, one Nike probably is like, we don't want to really pay you much anymore. Um, or he was just maybe just given more creative freedom, which I think that's the thing. Like a
People have to remember so it's not just him taking Fear of God to Adidas. There is his own line.
line, yes, that's the main thing.
So moving into more of a director role for Adidas basketball. So
Yeah.
now, does Adidas basketball present itself as a real and a true viable threat to Nike basketball on court kicks? Because Puma
Yeah.
is making a splash. And I think with the fact, of course, that they now have Melo as the
Yeah.
face, I think it helps. It really does draw.
Well, Jay Z really made that like that happen because again, Jay Z's behind it. There's a lot of people with Rock Nation Sports that he's like, hey, we need to bring over.
Right.
Now, a question for you: who do you think, like Adidas brand,
Huh?
that Jerry can like completely market? Again, I know there's not. I know there's Derrick Rose, there's Damian Lillard. Not really sure who else is on the Adidas brand. I mean, I would really like. I know Rose is doing something with the Easy. I believe that was a whole like that weird looking shoe.
I could see Rose leaning
Damian Lillard for sure.
easy. I think Dame has made such a name for
Yeah.
himself, really garnered the respect that he deserves in the NBA. I think the playoffs really solidified that recently. So
Hmm.
I would say Dame. I mean, and this is just
Dame. Yeah.
I feel as if Dame is that caliber of player now where the shoes aren't getting the respect that his game deserves, and so
Yeah.
it would be something really interesting where uh, Jared Lorenzo comes in and we see a whole revamp of that because
So do you think it's going to be more of because Dame has his own line now? Do you feel like he's going to be the first guy to be a part of Adidas? Or do you think he's going to be the Fear God basketball? Like that's going to be he's going to be the first. Now I'm looking at it this way: are they going to do the Fear God basketball line kind of like how the Jordan brand is? Like, do you think that's how they're going to market it? Like, hey Jerry, you come over here. I know you're with Nike right now, but we're pretty much going to turn Fear God into like Jordan brand athletics, like Fear God athletics on this side.
and you've never, at least to my knowledge, we haven't seen that to that magnitude with Nike. They have Jordan, and again, this is all speculation. I don't know if it's Nike wouldn't ever want another juggernaut to kind
Mm,
of evolve like Jordan did on its own. I don't know if there's fear there about that or apprehension. But when you do that, right, there's that full trust. You're really giving somebody the reins to take hold of everything.
yeah.
I think it says a lot, and that's what they didn't do with Jerry's. I mean, Jerry said it very explicitly, right? His quote was, "We want to be on the baseball diamond. We want to be training."
Yes.
He was like, Jerry is embedded. He grew up around sports with his dad being in Major League
Yep.
Baseball, and so that's all he knows. So I think if maybe it felt like a slap in the face that we really didn't see Fear of God ones on the court. We didn't see the Fear of God shoot around on the court in the way that Jerry wanted to
I think
see.
only two people, PJ Tucker and the WNBA player. Her name's, I forgot who it was, but I think that's the only. Again, it could be a basketball shoe, but it looks so bulky to play in. So that's the only thing. I feel like even though it is an athletic shoe, it was a lifestyle shoe, which that's what it was. It was a lifestyle brand. Um, I think it's going to be completely different. Like even though there were such high end qualities in the Fear God ones by the Nike ones,
Right.
I'm curious to see what Adidas is going to do because I mean, Kanye went over there and pretty much remade the Roshis, and now I feel like he's dropped the ball. Like everything else that's come out after that is kind of garbage. I mean, that's again, people are gonna be like, oh, because he's in like Adidas. No, I'm just saying, literally, like how many more 350s you want? And people thought I was joking when I said they're literally the Roshis until he came out and himself and said he was sitting at the airport and he saw Roshis, and he's like, okay, now the Nike Roche run is there. I want to be that. And look what he did. They're literally the same shoe, except for what's the price point, 220 compared to what, $75, right?
And about it, that sneaker in terms of the culture, at some point, I feel as if everybody had a pair,
Yeah.
or you might have had 10 pairs because they were easy to buy, they were cheap to buy, you could kind of beat them up, but they were comfortable to
But they
have.
drop like every week the same exact color, or it'll be the same exact shoe. It'll be the same bread, whatever, but there'll be like a pink line on the side, and they'll call it like the fuchsias, like bread fuchsias or something. Like again, like I feel like he was going the only and this is me saying it. The only one that I really liked, I believe they were the 700, the one that looked like a weird alien. Like that was a change up. That looks cool. I
So
wasn't.
me, and I get flamed for this by some close friends. I really do. Um, for the Yeezy that I'm still willing to possibly pick up, and it's so funny that I say this because
Whoa! We did not talk about this.
Jerry worked on the sneaker with Ye when he crossed over to Adidas, and it's the only one I've said that I would possibly pick up.
We need to have a
And
chat after this, TJ.
yeah, that's fine. It's the 750. Honestly, it's the 750, and for
Which one
me,
is that again?
so the 750 is more of that mid
Yeah, let me look at them
look,
up.
with the grays and the oatmeal colorway. So I am still drawn to that sneaker to this day. And if you remember, you had big.
Oh, the boot, the one with the strap. Oh, okay. You know what? It's funny you say that. That does have a Fear of God vibe on it.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so, so look, going back to what we started off. So
Jerry was
going
in.
back, so going back to what we were saying, I now this come Kanye for sure had something to do with this and said, "Yo, come over here," because look, Yeezy. Okay, be honest. For people who are listening, and there's going to be a bunch of people, hopefully,
We
download the pod. We hope. Now, think about this. Yeezy is dying. Not Yeezy, the Yeezy brand. I feel like the shoes need a revamp. Now, Kanye wanted to work on the basketball shoe. It looked okay. I feel like now I'm looking at the shoe right now. This has Fear God like
written all
all over it. Like now I'm looking at it, right? This for sure. Kanye had something to do with this. He must have been like, "Yo, come over here. Let's do this. You'll get this much money. You'll get this much money." He must have been like, "Look, I came to Adidas. I'm a billionaire." And Kanye had money already.
I'll be honest with you. When I look at Kanye's clothing versus Jerry's, and the way Jerry is able to transition from tier to tier,
Yeah.
from luxury to streetwear pricing
Yeah.
to maybe more something that's a little bit more used to performance, right? So
Yeah.
go from mainline at maybe 700 for a top to a $95 hoodie for essentials, 125 for the track half zips because I have one of those. And then maybe if you go down to the performance line, maybe that drops a little bit. So maybe it's 80
Yeah.
or 5. He's able to make that jump. It's kind of like he's able to assimilate to the different tiers, but still true to his own style.
Yeah.
That says a lot. So I think that to me, Jerry is a little bit more of the total package. It's the whole cohesive look with the clothing and the shoes. So now, if you have all of that, the power of Jerry, with Adidas backing, to me at least, I think it would stand out a little bit more. It would sustain itself a little bit more because you have some, and I don't know if this is just through the resale and how it's changed a lot, but it just feels like Ye doesn't have the same pop with his shoes. And if you go back to something that was so different to like the 750, now I get it. Some people feel like it's a watered down version of the Air Yeezy 2. I can respect that. Okay.
100%. Yeah, I see that for sure.
Strap. I understand that, but for me, it was still something different that maybe we hadn't seen from Adidas. So I think that's what kind of opened my eyes to okay, the 750. I give respect, and for me, it's the 750 and the Wave Runner. Those are the ones that catch my eye. I still have a lot of respect for when it comes to 350s for the Beluga, for the and the Zebra, and even the Bread. But when it comes down to what still sticks out in my mind, it's when he first got there to the 750. It's with
Yeah.
the Warner. And now when you bring Jerry back on board, can you recapture the magic of the 750? And it may not be like you said, it may not be
Well, yeah, because I mean, Jerry's gonna bring that street vibe. Like he's gonna bring his creative.
may
Because
not
he's not only bringing Jerry. Kanye came by himself, correct? Kanye was Kanye West. Jerry Lorenzo has his whole Fear of God team, designers, people that I'm sure are out there looking in different countries. What so this was a smart move. And if Kanye had something to do with this, Kanye is a genius. I mean, look,
and I,
he became a billionaire.
not even I don't even think it's just Jerry and the Fear of God team. I think you have to look at just beyond that organically because Jerry really jumped off on the scene, right? When he
Hmm.
became that stylist for Big Sean. Big Sean came out with Detroit too, and I have that album on repeat day after day after day. You have Justin Bieber, who has still never left being at the top of the charts and everything that he
Hmm.
does. His style has evolved over time, but Jerry has always been a staple in Bieber's style. So
Yep.
people really appreciate his music or not, you can't knock the fact that he is
Didn't
still
he didn't he design his tour, the Purpose tour, like clothes?
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He I know he like that's why when you look at the whole Purpose, the way it's written, it's kind of in the Fear of God font. So I actually low key wanted that shirt because I saw everybody wearing it. I'm like, man, if I wear
The
this, will you laugh at me? Because
course
it's just
awesome. No, I listen. I wouldn't laugh at you. I still go back to this day and I look at different styles that maybe Bieber wore and take certain elements that I really like and incorporate them for myself. And I think it naturally happens just because you realize Jerry had his hand in so much that Bieber was
mm,
already wearing. You're like, you know what? That's why I'm attracted to that look that he had on because
mm,
it really is reminiscent of Jerry being part of, I think, Bieber's entire look and his entire presentation. So I think when you look at Jerry, he brings that along, right? So he
yeah.
brings along. He brings Big Sean. So he doesn't just bring his own team. He has people that have global reach like celebrities do. So I think it's much more to this. Now, again, I respect a lot of my subscribers and followers when they said, "Well, TJ, it'll be okay. Nike's not hurting." No, I absolutely don't think Nike is hurting because
No, Nike's not. They have trust me. The
the end
people
of
behind the scenes who are so.
market
Oh
share
yeah, yeah.
that that's what we have to look at. So Adidas, what how does this play out long term? Because for Jerry, I really don't think it matters if Jerry collaborated on an athletic line with Nike, with New Balance, with Puma, with Adidas, because Jerry knows his vision and I feel like he's always
Hmm.
in line with the purpose of his brand, he'll continue to soar. Adidas, do you make up market share against Nike? And
Now,
that's
do you think Jerry, since well, I know at one point Adidas wanted to sell Reebok, or was trying to sell Reebok, but
a discussion.
do you think I mean, I don't know if it has been sold or not, but do you think that they would maybe try to revamp Reebok as well? Like, I mean, they're the same company, right? Do you think that? I mean, I would really like to see. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jerry work on a pair of questions. Okay, actually, can you pull that question behind you?
Yep.
The yes, like that. Yep. Now, there's not much you could do with that shoe because it's such a classic, right? Even you know what? That's probably the only non-Jordan that I have. I believe I still have the OGs in my collection.
Okay,
Never
so
wore them. It's just a dope shoe. Iverson is another goat. Now, I could see something like a higher end version of that. Like, like how Jordan and all do the remastered. Like now imagine that with high end leather, some
now
dope suede.
you give me that, I'm very open to it. Now we remember think back to All-Star Weekend, that entire release by Jerry, it was so heavily inspired by Allen Iverson
Yeah.
and Georgetown, to the point where all of Jerry's promos, they were mirroring different images we've seen throughout time of Allen Iverson with the braids, with the cut off
Yeah.
shirt. And I loved it. It took me back to wanting to be that rebel, wanting to just stand on my own and not care and kind of buck conforming to what everybody wanted Allen
Yeah.
to. He wasn't doing that. He didn't care. He would take the fines. It didn't matter to him. So if Jerry gets his hand on this, because he does have that, I mean, that love and appreciation, you can really tell it's there for Allen. So
That
I
would be dope. Actually, I would love to see that.
deserves it. He deserves it. So if
Yeah.
take that direction, I would be happy to pick up the Fear of God and Reebok line, or maybe a release, and it is heavily focused around Allen Iverson. I think that would
Yeah.
be
That'd be dope. That would be dope. But yeah, that you know what? For being a pilot episode, we talked about a lot of things. A
we
lot of Adidas, a lot of Adidas, but you know what? We had to get this breaking news. It was breaking news out of the way. I know TJ's inbox was flooded about, because this TJ, aka Jerry's girl, um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. TJ, do you want to tell them a little bit more about yourself? Yeah, let's do that, because I mean, this was supposed to be like kind of like, hey, get to know, but you know what? This breaking news just popped up on my screen. I'm just like, hey, we need to like talk about this, but we also need to
cool.
give credit where credit is due, because we have somebody amazing who has joined our team. And if you want to talk about some of your projects that you're doing, what you can say, what you can't say, of course. Uh, so for I know a lot of this going on, but I'm saying stuff that's going on right now. TJ, yeah, why don't you take the floor and talk about what's going on? What's your biggest project or what's to come?
Absolutely, guys. So it's been a crazy, 2020 has been crazy for all of us. We hate the word unprecedented at this point, but I don't think that always has to be a bad thing, right? I've had an unprecedented year with some of the opportunities and projects I've worked on. So early on, March 26th, if you are a Nike or just a sneaker fan in general, Air Max Day is March 26th every year. We're happy to celebrate that. This was the brand new release of the Air Max 90 2090, and I was actually able to be a part of the 2020 Air Max Day campaign in March. So that was a once in a lifetime experience, absolutely, to be around the Nike team. That was really a Nike and Foot Locker collaboration together, being part of that. And I was actually featured in the brand new women's colorway for the 270 React. So we moved from there to working with Chicks and Kicks Daily. I am a really big Michigan fan. We're not doing that well this year in football, but I'm a really big Michigan fan. And so when Nike decided to really come back out with the Be True to your school packs,
Yep.
we had the Spartan, this is the very first time we'd ever seen a Spartan order. So MSU gets some respect in terms of a dunk high. Now we were already used to this. We knew this pair was coming back out, and it was unfortunate. So I ended up having this pair when they released previously, but they were actually a little too small. It was one of those times where you get the shoe because you really want it, and then you realize like it's not going to fit that well. So I had to get rid of it. So it was like a blessing and fate to be able to work with Chicks and Kicks Daily to unbox these, but also go over the history of the school and the rivalry with the Paul Bunyan Trophy. So that really, I guess, played to my Michigan heart, even though we lost, guys. It still played to my Michigan heart. So debuted that, I believe it was over the summer, so maybe August, September. And then on my Instagram page, guys, that talks out with that TJ, I love doing outfit grids. I
Fire.
sense that you throw clothes on the floor and you take pictures. Yes, it's exactly what happens. But it's really how I think about as soon as a shoe pops up on a release calendar. My mind is already thinking about, well, what coordinates well with this? And when I say coordinate, I don't mean matchy match. I mean coordinate. So spend some time looking at a color wheel, and shout out to some of the other creators that have really helped broaden my horizons in this. So like Fly with Johnny Ty, he's on YouTube, and he talks a lot about color blocking. So if you're looking at analogous colorways, you're looking at complementary colors. Like so many people don't play around with olive green and red, but if you have a red Jordan, silhouette, you have a colorway. Honestly, get some olive green pants. They will make the shoe pop more than you could ever imagine.
Hmm.
Also playing around with orange and green. So there's a lot of different things you can do with colors, but that's the first thing that pops into my mind. What's going to coordinate really well with this shoe? What's going to bring this shoe out in the outfit? And that leads to me actually displaying that on a grid. So what usually happens, my thought process, I'll get a shoe in, I'll immediately shoot a grid, and then it moves into pictures and content to post on Instagram, really bring the outfit to life. And then we have a full breakdown on YouTube. And that also led to a project with Nike and Outfit Grid, really just breaking down that you don't need to always buy hype to put together an amazing outfit. Nike essentials or Nike inline items are available every single day. So that's what I
Yeah.
partner Outfit Grid and Nike to show you guys with the fall and the winter. Nike has some amazing things. There's a women's coat that even AJ wants.
The one with that swoosh, the
Her coat.
yeah. For all my Seinfeld fans, if you guys remember what Putty wore, the little, the furry coat, yeah, I might have to rock that. Just,
Get it. Listen, James from Off the Cut, he
shout out
messed
to guys off the cut.
man, amazing. He was actually in the store in his off-white Jordan 4s, and he's like, should I get this jacket? So we matched. I'm like, absolutely, you get the jacket.
See,
So
that's one thing I might need to try on because they didn't, I mean, yet they said it was women, but I feel it's like the oversized. So,
it's oversized. So I have a medium, and I'm able to fit a Fear of God hoodie under it, and it fits just fine. So
all right, so yeah,
absolutely,
we're gonna make that happen.
you can get an oversized one, and they come in a lot of different colors. But you have the progression of how I may do videos, and then that led to awesome experience. So if you guys know myself, and AJ, eBay is Bay. I always joke about that because there are so.
eBay, shout out to eBay.
I mean, just to tell you, like with the number of shoes that are actually from eBay,
You know
it's
what?
really,
Let me show us your. There we go. Your recent pickup from eBay.
these are from eBay. These are from eBay. I'm trying to find.
Let's do top four from eBay. Let's do top four from eBay. Give me one more.
Okay, so I got this was a grill that I picked up this year. This was a grill I picked up this
Yeah. Hey,
and,
people sleep on eBay. Me and TJ talk about this
and
all the time. Do not sleep on eBay. And now with their whole authentication, I mean, even before, like people are like, "Hey, no, it's safe. Trust me." A
even
lot of,
and don't get me wrong, when you're in this game and you're in it long enough, you take some L's with your wins, right?
of
So
course,
you may go through a period, you may have something happen where something wasn't authentic or it wasn't what you thought it was. And you know what? You sometimes just have to suck it up and move on. I've been there, AJ's been there from time to time, but I
yeah.
think it is really revamping that with the fact that they do have the authentication process now. So don't sleep on eBay. It's a great place to go find older gems as well as brand new kicks that have released if you weren't able to
Yeah.
get your hand
And with their authentication, hey, don't think it's just random people. It's SneakerCon. SneakerCon is behind it. So when you already know SneakerCon has amazing, authentication stuff. I've done a lot of work with SneakerCon, and yeah, this is a huge deal. Like a lot of not a lot of my collection, but I'm on eBay every single day, and I'll send TJ like random
huge
shoes. Like,
deal to the point where eBay even partnered with Anthony Davis this season, guys, where they are doing Santa sneaker drop. So you can play around like December 22nd through the 24th, so Christmas Eve. There's an AR experience you can actually play, and it allows you to see if you win one of 500 plus grails that Anthony Davis literally dropped from the sky because he kind of crashed Santa's sleigh a little bit. But I was a part of that along with some other amazing names that you guys may know in the community. I'm Simply B, Jock Slade, and a multitude of others. So that was the latest project I was part of. But it all goes back to just that content around being passionate about kicks. Kicks are a little thing in life, but they mean so much to us.
yes.
And so I never tire of making content, having discussions around it. What's new, what's different, what's changing now. I'm probably somebody that doesn't get as frustrated with certain things that go on in the community because I learned to accept that things will change. So what's in my power to control, and then what do I have to let just roll off my back? If I miss a sneaker, I won't lie. I immediately end up going to eBay.
eBay. Yeah, for sure.
What's in my cart, so I have a new love for 13s, guys. So I actually doubled up on the Flip 13 this year, and then I picked up the Hyper Royal 13. So because I have this, hands down, I need the bread. I need to go back and get the cherries. And so eBay will be the place that I go, and I just need people to know that they have options. So guys,
Shout out eBay. Shout out eBay. You
eBay
know,
actually lead into some of the content we're going to talk about, guys, because again, all of what's part of the culture, I think it flows into one another, right? So do you have a plan B for sneaker L's? Do you understand that, the hype will eventually fade? Because I really do. I have a feeling that the off-white hype will eventually fade. And I think
yeah,
we'll into style being more timeless. And so I think that will probably bring a discussion back to Jerry. Then looking at the high cost of style and sneakers, like, do you have to go up to that really high price point? I don't think you do, right? I mean, that's one thing that
no,
you don't have to go up to mainline. You can make an amazing outfit. Let's say you piece together different tiers. It can be essentials, it can be H&M, it can be minimal. So you have a lot of options of what you can do there. I think that moves down into how brands miss the mark as well on sneakers and then with collaborators. And I think we all have a little bit to chime in there when it comes to collaborations that just leave us really confused,
yeah,
really confused. And for me, I can't lie. That's kind of how I felt with Sean Witherspoon when we went from the Air Max 1, 97, and then we went over to the Adidas Sean Witherspoon.
yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. Well, not only that it's Adidas, but I just couldn't get with the design.
I didn't understand. It was just like strings hanging off the side.
It
So
to me, I'm like, are you wearing this? Like, are you stepping on them? Does that part fall off the shoe? I had questions.
you,
Questions
man,
about what was happening, and that'll lead into kind of like the fifth episode that we want to touch on, guys, and that's about resale is here. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think
yeah,
it's going to evolve as this game evolves, and I think us talking about it a little bit more, right? Because I think is there a right and wrong way to do this? There's usually what is that? Sam Rosling said there's a right way,
yeah,
wrong way, there's my way. So there may be ways that AJ and I think about resell, and we don't think of it necessarily as evil, even though there are times we get burned by it. But I
yeah,
think you have to understand that I don't think it's going anywhere. So we have to
yeah.
learn
You just
around.
you just have to know the right people, and you have to make sure that again you're gonna have to pay resell for a lot of things if you don't get it for I mean, and that's where like some of the and I think you know what TJ, what we should do is we will bring in some guests. We'll bring in some random guests, like people that we know, not random people, but like random episodes, talking about certain things. Because now when we're talking about resale, yeah, myself and TJ know a lot, but I feel that we need to hear from a reseller's point of view. And with that being said, this was a great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed every second of it. Once again, thank you to TJ. I'm so happy to have you on our team. Welcome to the On My Feet team. And this is first of many. And I make sure you guys actually download the On My Feet app on the Android and iOS marketplace. Join the community. It's a place for sneakerheads to feel accepted. You don't have to worry about algorithms and if you're going to post something. No, don't worry about it. You could post at 2 in the morning and people are going to see it. The algorithms are not, it's not like based on how many followers you have. And when I first joined that, I was just like, man, okay, going from 30 something thousand followers to only having like 32. And and it's growing. The app is growing. But
No,
you don't have to worry about like, oh my God, am I going to get seen? No, everybody sees it. So which is great. So make sure you guys go download that. Don't also forget, don't I'm on another show as well, kicking it. Right now we're focused on the Jordans 1 through 14, and we got a little something special stuff coming on that too. But make sure you guys just follow everybody on OMF, and we got some more shows coming, a lot more shows coming. And TJ, where can they find you? And I mean, she's not leaving. This is the first episode, but we need to make sure everybody follows her.
head out, guys. But you can find me on Instagram at Talks with TJ and on YouTube almost every single day with brand new content, new videos at Talks with TJ. Thank you guys again so much. Don't forget, On My Feet has a lot more coming your way.
Yes, and for me, you can find me at TAI87 Kicks. That's Tai 87 Kicks, Mr. Main Event, and I'm with the face that runs the place, TJ Two Swoosh Chains, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you guys. Take care. Peace.